Hey guys, what is up? How are you guys doing? Bit of a crazy week. Sorry about there not being a stream last week. Was too exhausted. Um, I do have a not a new co-host, but he's filling in for Miss Steam, so I have multiple co-hosts now. Oh no, okay, that's what happened. Okay, there you are, Arketer. If you want to say hello, but you're not a mod. Hello? Uh-oh. Anyway, yeah, oh, there he is. I hear something. Um, anyway, like I said, sorry about the lack of stream last week. Just a heads up, next week there isn't going to be a stream because I'm gonna have oral surgery, so I'm gonna be out for a few days. So yeah, no stream next week. So what I wanted to cover this week, a couple things, popped up, came to my attention or whatever. And we have the Sonic movie. We have an incident involving teenagers being accused of wearing blackface. We have it's a conversation among parents, and it's not one that you really read about all that often, but it's something that needs to be brought up or like discussed. I found an article with a clickbaity title. So let me go through and get... You there, Arketer?
Yes.
All right, so I have all the articles. Which one are you wanting to cover? You wanting to cover first? Are you wanting to do the teenagers, Sonic, the odd parent discussion, or the weird cure by a Muslim doctor?
It's a tough one. I wasn't prepared for these hard questions starting out immediately. I suppose if we're going for a light-hearted start, then it would be the cure to gayness. Great news for all those people out there who are living in a country where they might be murdered for being gay and need something to stick up their butts in order to declare themselves cured and thus avoid a short trip off of a roof.
Yeah, so Suit Yourself had posted or reposted this video, and I'm not sure if I can actually play it. I don't want to get my channel struck or anything because a lot of people like this will go after the footage, so I will prevent it from playing, but I'll have like all the links in the description of all the articles and stuff we read a bit later. But this is from the New York Post, pretty much news footage of therapist and academic Dr. Mariam O'Showell. Sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing those names. Making claims she can cure homosexuality has surfaced online. In the Kuwait City-based Scope TV broadcast, which first aired in March, O'Showell claimed to have invented an anal suppository which can supposedly reverse homosexuality. According to the Middle East Media Research Institute, which translated Al-Sawal's words posted to the clip to its Twitter account last week, her treatment kills the parasitic anal worm that feeds on semen, which she says causes homosexuality. Al-Sawal said her suppository for men and women can curb the sexual urges of boys of the third gender as well as the fourth gender, which is butch lesbians. In Kuwait, homosexuality and cross-dressing are condemned under the country's debauchery law and punishable by long prison sentences or by death. But this article is trying to play it nice. But no, you can't get killed. By the way, this is all science. No, this is quack stuff. So there's nothing to be ashamed of, also said. The host of the program, which some are calling Kuwait's answer to The View, seemed to agree, of course not. It's prophetic medicine, it's all in the book. Patients who undergo Al-Sawad's regime also put on a gender-specific diet of sour, salty, and sweet foods in order to cleanse the body of poisons, which at that point you're sticking a bunch of salt and sugar. Bitter foods are especially important for men, the doctor alleges, because they supposedly increase masculinity. Social media users are laughing off her claims. This is one of those religious quack pseudo doctors that you just spread the word about and stay far away from. Hasn't something like this come up before, though?
I'm sure there have been other people claiming to have cured gay news through a lot of interesting methods, including electroshock therapy, but
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware, medical science hasn't confirmed any of it. I'm true, if you shock a person often enough, they'll at least swear up and down that they've gone totally straight, but it's probably not going to change anything about their predilections. Uh, I can't be angry at the woman here, and also, isn't this unusually progressive of them? This lady doctor, this breakthrough discovery, in which they conflate pinworms, I think it is, the small parasitic organisms that tend to wind up in your digestive tract that cause intense itching. And if that can be the case, then why not parasitic microscopic worms that make you gay?
Yeah, it's always see that's the thing because there's a conflict right now in the Islam communities with the Reform. You have the traditional Muslim, you have the moderate, you have the radical, and then you just have everyone else in between. So for those of you who don't know the difference between the radical, okay. I have nothing against people who are Muslim, but I don't stand for the religion just because of what it stands for and pushes and all that. So, radical and traditional, if you look at the Quran, if you look at the teachings it has, it does call for infidels to be killed, convert or die, jaza the tax. So, I don't think the traditional slash radical ones do carry out those things, and like you see the suicide bombers, and no, that's not a funny joke, that's like legit. If you ever studied up on Islam, the teachings out of the Quran, and how they treat specific individuals of society, especially women and children. And then you have the moderate Muslims who they believe everything in the Quran, but they don't practice everything, as such as like the jaza, the killings, because I believe a lot of the time, like especially here in the U.S., we're not under Islamic rule, and thank God for that, because that crap is just scary. And then you have the Muslims, like if you guys ever bumped into the Imam of Peace on Twitter, him and quite a few others are calling for a reform of Islam to try to do away with what's considered barbaric, and that's killing anybody who's not a follower. I think that also has to do with the jazz attacks. It has to do with doing away with the hijab, the way that women are treated in Islam. Take, for example, a woman's word is like maybe 1/3 of a value. Like, in order for a woman to come forward with her story, she has to have, I think, 2 to 3 other witnesses with her. Women, I think, just equate to one opinion of the man. This is in Islam, so, but so
My
it's
favorite is
go
the
ahead.
fantastic method of determining lies from truth involving heated spoons.
What? Okay, I have not heard
Oh,
that
you,
one.
you didn't know about that? You
No.
can tell if a woman is lying or not by whether or not she burns her tongue when you apply a heated spoon to it. If she licks a heated spoon and her tongue doesn't burn, she's being honest.
That's almost like a play off the Salem witch trials, like the tropes, like if she's a witch, she won't float or something. I almost got like their own version of the Salem witch trials, but no, I've never heard that one. Of course, you also have the acid attack. So this trying to, I don't. Here's the thing, I don't know what this particular lady, which part of Islam, if she's moderate, traditional slash radical, or somewhere in between. I don't know. I'd play the video, but once again, guys, these companies are known to strike it, and so I'd rather not have this struck. So, But
Well, they probably won't keep the strike on your channel, but odds are they will just bury the recording, if they do flag it at all. But sympathies, I understand. Uh, Regarding this, again, it seems like this has to be an unusually progressive section because, again, it's a female doctor and they're listening to her. Uh, Personally, I wish her the best. This is an example of con jobbery that is probably the lesser evil in every conceivable aspect. Yes, it's absurd, it's insane, it's laughable, and it may save lives. Not because it makes anyone straight, but because it gives people an argument for claiming they're cured now and don't need to be thrown off the roof after all.
well,
And it involves sticking something up their butt. Everyone wins.
well, like here's the thing, because if you watch the video, I forgot what she said the ingredients were, and it's just like you could possibly do damage with this stuff because it's not I don't think wholly explained, because Suit Yourself has a copy of the video on his channel. And I watched it and tried to, like, from memory, I don't remember what she puts in, like, these itty bitty bags, and it's so weird. It's like, what happens if they have allergic reaction? I mean, I don't, it's so weird.
She probably doesn't care. She's also probably acutely aware that, strictly speaking, no one has to actually use it. It's like it's going to work anyway. And if they do, then it's probably still better than being thrown off a roof.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Here's the thing. I never quite got the movement of, and it was, from what I noticed, it was a bunch of millennials and the younger generations who had Muslim parents or Muslim grandparents or people who came over to the US who were Muslim, and they try to say, oh, well, you can be a Muslim and get at the same time. It's like your religion literally tells its followers to fling these guys off a roof to get rid of them. So I just, because I remember seeing all the banners, and you see like no Islamophobia, no homophobia, and you'll see it on the same thing, and then it's just like, you can't tell me that this woman here, what she's doing, that she's a radical or one of the crazy ones, when if anything she's one of the traditional Muslims. I don't know, it's so convoluted right now, and I know that there's like a power struggle, and because they'll fight each other whose word is more accurate than the next. So
No, I'm aware. Again, I just note that we have a con, but they're a con in the best, quite possibly one of the best possible contexts. Everything they're leveraging is more likely to save lives than it is to cost them. Because it's already a death sentence to be gay in these areas. So you need to come up with a solution, and quick.
well, it's not, yeah, and it's not just that, it's a religious thing where this is against what Allah says, this is what it goes against the Quran, and oh wow, there's been an updated story. So yeah, it's one of those weird stories that it's almost on par with the anti-vaxxers, or like what happened Sunday, because I don't know if you've heard about this, where you had a bunch of people get together to drink industrial grade bleach here in the U.S. To cure autism, to cure any type of disease, and apparently this church goes overseas to like the poor country, like the third world countries, and they will give them this bleach as a miracle cure in like these tiny bottles. So
They will in
yeah.
fact sell this miracle cure. And I remember seeing this as well. I was absolutely blown away by it. And it's a stark contrast to this case. Again, this woman, let's say, I don't know, these suppositories are 50% sawdust and itching powder. People dying from it, relatively low odds. Get people chugging enough bleach, and it's true, it will, well, your problems will come to an end.
Well, from what I understand,
All of
because
your problems.
yeah, I saw the pictures. You know, like those red party cups I think they're like a 8 to 16 ounce glass. Yeah, no, that's how much these people were drinking. And then you had like the little, what looks to be little eye drop bottles.
Pardon, I don't
Given
know how I'm sounding to you, but Citrus Quest, greetings by the way, is reporting in chat that I'm apparently very quiet.
that you're quiet.
Apparently, my volume isn't getting through to them.
Give me one sec, because you sound fine to me. I might just have to turn you up in my Discord.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
hey, I know who that person is. That's a Stalin.
Oh yeah, Stalin.
Oh, I didn't know you were familiar
Greetings.
with Stalin too. Yeah, let's bring him in here because I need to
Well,
stay
look,
away.
assuming it's the same Stalin, you know, I know he's not the original Stalin.
Yeah.
Stalin I know was using a Stalin MLP avatar. It could be the same one.
Yeah, I know.
Mute. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know you're muted.
Okay, I actually just came in to ask what the hell was going on with your argument with the Kiwis earlier?
I'm not talking about it on the stream, Stalin, you troll. It's
Troll? No, I'm actually being.
I know you're being serious.
You're picking a fight with New Zealand?
God damn it, you guys.
God damn it.
No, it's just
Well,
somebody pulled a gay ops, got caught. Kiwis got pissed. Kiwis had their fun because they gave everybody the runaround. It's been an exhausting 2 days, so I'm trying to focus on other things.
Okay, that. Okay, because I'm like, what is going on? You know, I'm looking through my Twitter feed and I'm like, why is Chambers like doing the exact opposite of what you do with the Kiwis, but which is fueling their thread. So that's what I was confused. So
Simply
confused.
put, I looked into a claim made by Ren Famous. Everybody flipped their fucking shit. I dug, continued to dig. People freaking like jumped on my shit, ran away, and I just it kind of like spiraled out of control from there. So
yeah, I kind of noticed because it was a bit of a clusterfuck, and I was looking at threads over there, and yeah, it looked like a bit of a mess. I'm not gonna get into that. I was just curious because I was like, why is she fueling the threads? Because you know that's how they function.
Oh, I know. You have that dude that like went and cowered to the threads because he like nuked everything, and him and his buddy nuked everything and locked everything down. So it's like, yeah, go have fun on the threads. But yeah,
go have fun. So what you guys got going here today?
you just got done talking about the suppositories by a Muslim therapist to cure the gay. Oh, dude.
Hey, she's saving lives, just not medically.
Wait,
you have I just went over the article. You have a Muslim therapist who made these little suppositories that you stick up your rear that is supposed to take care of the worms that feed on semen, even though women don't have semen. And they're supposed to cure the gay and kill sexual urges in both the third gender and the fourth gender that they can.
Where's the article?
Hold on.
Where's the article? I want to see this.
Okay.
Oh my god.
This is an important PSA, by the way. Remember, suppositories go in the other end. Do not try to swallow the suppository.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Here, I dumped it in the main hall. It's in the main.
Oh my god, I want to see this. All right, let's see here. Okay. Oh, Ichabod just sent it to me as well. So he's hearing what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's around.
All right. Curb the sexual urges of boys in the third gender as well as the fourth gender. Which is butch lesbians.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, this is anal suppositories that cure homosexuality. Okay. Hold on, let me go drink real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't I'm not sure that's a good mix.
I'm gonna need a drink after reading that. Okay.
Okay,
so yeah, now I've caught on. What the hell, dude? What? What?
I don't even know what to tell. It's like I told Arketer, it's on par with the bleach drinking cult. Not really quite as dangerous. Well, actually, it's probably nowhere near as dangerous, but it's still like one of those bizarro groups that's just like, oh, well, because the book says so, or it'll take care of this, when homosexuality is not a physical, how do I put this? It's not a physical thing, and it's not a sickness you cure with medicine. It's not like a virus or a disease that you could just take a pill and make it go away. That's not how that works. But
stick something up your ass, you cure the gay. Oh God! Oh, this is some good stuff.
If it were a scam being run in any civilized section of the world, any society we might deem modern and first world, then it would be just a mean bit of con jobbery. But again, I'm saying here, she's quite possibly saving lives. Someone gets revealed as being gay, they just buy these magical prophetic medicine suppositories, pop one in and say, no, I've killed the anal sperm craving worms, I'm straight now, I don't need to die.
I don't get it. This is super weird.
Oh yes, but in context, good work.
Great work, guys. This is next level medicine we got going here.
Well, it's not medicine, it's a con job, but it's a con job that's net positive in the society it's in. So I'm not.
Don't worry.
I'm supportive.
Yeah, get rid of the gay. Get rid of the gay today, kids.
Or at least, claim you have with this quote unquote prophetic medical backing, so you don't get lynched.
Okay.
yeah.
Right now I'm witnessing one of our boys in our room go crazy.
Huh?
One of the guys in the barrel is going freaking nuts right now. Like he left every room and he kind of like spurred out with another individual and he said something very weird.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks to my
prophetic suppositories that cure the gay weird, because we've got a pretty high bar to clear here.
Well, so here's the thing. This guy decided to think it was a good idea to tell us that he was that he was raped by a brony twice.
Oh, not that shit. What?
Yeah, and then so all of a sudden he decides to leave every single room. All right. And he told somebody, thanks to my rapist, I'm into amputation and rape porn.
No.
I don't know what's happening.
You boot people like that. It's like, you need to go get help. And no.
I'm like, you need to. What are you doing on the internet? Get out of here.
That's someone looking for attention. You boot those people. See that crap does not happen in my server because people know better to pull that shit.
Well, no. He left the room. Like he left everywhere and told one person that.
Oh, then let him leave. Don't even go chase him. Let him leave.
Well, we're not chasing him. What we're doing right now is that we're like, what the hell caused this guy to go off the deep end? What the fuck? And then we find out that he was
bad touching from a brony twice. Although that's really no excuse. How does that even?
I don't know. Like he told us like one time in the room, like, oh yeah, by the way, I was raped like in the forest by a brony and probably another one. And we're like, why did you just tell us that?
He's not certain.
No, he is.
I'm guessing.
I was just generalizing.
Okay, I was thinking he might have been just really high on something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say drugs or lack of drugs.
Somebody is telling us that that they had a call with him like a few months ago. He hit me up drunk off of his ass, suicidal and shit a few months ago. And I stayed with him for like, what the hell? This guy is nuts. This guy is freaking nuts. Okay, I guess it's a good thing that he is leaving everything. All right.
Sounds like
Good
a
thing.
mix of pain meds and alcohol. Never a good mix.
Never a good mix. All right. Anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna keep observing the situation. What else you got here, Chambers?
Okay, we got
In that article.
the blackface. So this is stupid kids. Now blackface is painted a very specific way, but it does look like a botched job, and they blurred out the pics. HF students blackface.
They wait a second. I'm sorry. The blurring is new.
They
I hope that's done to protect the identities of the kids here, because otherwise, the idea that someone's going to see these pictures and go,
No, it's to protect the
Crazy.
kids, even though the actual photos have been leaked on Twitter and all that. So them blurring it
Yeah.
just made no sense. Let's see, Homeward, Flossmoor. Oh, this is Illinois. Interesting. Images that appear to show several Homewood, Flossmoor high school students in blackface are rocking the community. Residents and students who denounce the images as racist are planning a walkout, which did happen 3 days ago. On the campus Tuesday morning, and parents are questioning whether their children are safe at that school. So, yeah, okay, from what I understand of this story...
Oh, no, we must take our kids out. Someone put makeup on their face. This is no longer a safe place to raise my children.
Well, let's see, I'm very disappointed.
I'm like these kids are just
There's been a
being
drive-by insensitive moment.
these kids are just being edgy. I remember reading
Oh,
about
I
this.
know.
Was this a few days ago?
This was posted April 29th, so, and then
Yeah.
the walkout was, there's an article talking about the walkout was listed from 3 days ago, or 2 to 3 days ago, so yeah, no, it is stupid kids, and from what I hear, they were also driving around a McDonald's and terrorizing the employees. Let me see. Let me read this. I'm very disappointed this would happen in this community, the resident wrote on Facebook. The history and the effects of blackface are well known. To see students in our communities taking part in this activity and disrespecting the black student population makes me wonder if HF truly cares about supporting a safe space for students of color. I urge my fellow alumni and friends with students currently in this district to voice your displeasure of this behavior and ensure HF takes appropriate action. We need to make sure the students in the school know that this type of racist behavior will not be tolerated in this community. Now, like, the funny thing is, too, is because it sounds like it's a small town, everybody knows each other. This was not done on school grounds. This was done, as far as I've understood, as far as the situation goes, it was done after school hours or not even anywhere near school hours. I don't even think it was even done on the campus. Let's see, talks about the patched or the blurred images. A mother of one of the students involved, who asked not to be named because to identify her son, said that the boys in the photos have received death threats since the story was made public, which I don't doubt because people are freaking crazy. This is a very serious thing, she said. As crazy as it sounds, it is not about race. We are not racist. The students didn't even know what blackface meant until they Googled it later. It was a complete dumb and childish act. And I will say there's a lot of people, a lot of kids who don't know what a lot of these old terms mean. Like, I grew up knowing what blackface was, not because I ever did it, but because of history class, social studies. It was still a topic that was brought up. I don't know if it's brought up in schools anymore, in particular places, so, she added that
It's brought up occasionally.
Depends on the community,
Yeah, it really depends on the community, what school you go to. It's brought up occasionally, but it's not exactly like a requirement to know that blackface existed in the realm of entertainment at one point.
This sounds like it's a growing trap. As in, they don't want to talk about these things in history class because it's very triggering and upsetting for someone, they swear. And at the same time, if you, in ignorance, do any of this, then clearly you're a horrible racist monster must be put down immediately.
Yeah, it's actually becoming very hard to talk about certain events of the past without everybody, like, freaking out and trying to pull the victim card, and let's see.
It gets pretty fucking wonky when you get the unlimited amount of people trying to pull the victim card in some form or fashion. But concerning this whole situation, I mean, I think these kids were just being really dumb edgelords and wanting to cause trouble. I don't know if they're racist. I can't say that for a fucking fact. But what we can say for a fact is they're really dumb. They're really dumb kids.
Well,
and I'm pretty sure they got the reaction that they wanted. At least, I mean, we triggered all the libs. I mean, I don't know, but I think everybody's really dumb in this situation. Instead of freaking out, all of these students and walking out, I think they should have just laughed at them. I think they should have just been making fun of them the entire time.
I have the photos. I have the photos non-blurred. Okay, so I will show you, because here's the thing. I know what blackface looks like. Two of them.
This doesn't even look like they're trying. This looks like they're mimicking their sister's, mud facial.
What the? Did they even? They didn't even do it right.
Well, that's because when I saw the photos, because I knew somebody had leaked the actual unblurred photos on Twitter, because I followed the hashtag, and so the nose. What
reason have we to believe they were even trying to do blackface?
Because it's black paint. Anytime somebody sticks black paint on their face, all hell breaks loose. You've had it with this at sports games where there's a, I think it's called teasing the other team and the other side players or whatnot, where it's white right here or whatnot, and then it's black on top. And I forgot what that was called, but you also paint your body and you have like white splotches everywhere. So that is one form of it, but people freak out about that. You have people freaking out, calling it racist.
Blackface either.
Yeah, I know. Blackface is painted very specifically. I'm not going to show it, but pretty much what it is, it's kind of similar to this kid, but the entire face is black, and to emphasize the lips, either they wear lipstick or they wear like a really light color or something, but they make the lips look incredibly huge with paint. There's been freakouts over a beauty product, no less, a charcoal mask, which has been around for years, mind you, and now people are calling it blackface if a white woman or light-skinned woman puts that stuff on her skin, and so it's like, that's not blackface.
How dare they? Their skin is the wrong color.
How dare.
Yeah, no, it's stupid, but yeah, like I said, I went and found the photos, and like this to me looks like one of those, if you guys remember A Knight's Tale, like that old medieval painting, the way he was painting his face. So it's just like, that doesn't look like blackface. I mean, it really doesn't. Blackface is painted a very specific way. So it could have been them just being shitheads. I mean, but yeah, no, there was an actual walkout. Let me see. Yeah, no, because they planned the walkout. Students walk out of school after blackface controversy, and you have 1,000 of them do this about. Nearly 1,000 Homewood Flossmoor High School students spilled out of the building and flooded Kedzie Highway Tuesday afternoon in protest over a blackface controversy that happened over the weekend.
Wait, they blocked a highway?
Yeah, Kedzie Highway. Apparently
What the fuck? Yeah, a bunch of guys are being really edgy. Let's block a highway.
A bunch of guys are hypothetically being really edgy, because I'm not convinced this is what we've been trying to do.
No,
they just got carried away with the war paint.
Well,
I can't say for sure on what exactly their motives is, because all you're going to see out of this story is a bunch of kids are doing blackface, and then a bunch of students are pissed off, so they go protest. But you keep looking into this.
They're being used.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely. The outrage is being fueled. Something too, if you notice with the blackface actors, is there was a particular outfit they wore, like it was accompanied, either their hair was made to look all fro-like, there was a straw hat, there was a particular outfit, I believe they wore white gloves, so they were meant to almost look like Mickey Mouse cartoon looking people. So it just, blackface also had a particular outfit to it, but nobody wants to talk about that. Mm-hmm. They're just going to freak out about the black paint being on somebody's face.
Yeah. So well, look, not freaking out is completely useless for demonstrating how woke and how deeply you feel things.
Woke. You getting woke, Ark? You getting woke?
No, I'm in danger of passing out actually. But
I gotta go. I gotta go hop into another chat to
You're
talk
fine.
about this whole fiasco that I just mentioned. I do want to say one more thing though. I think everybody in this whole blackface situation is being extremely retarded, and the students, instead of having an excuse to go block a highway because racism, I guess, they should make fun of the edgelords instead. And I honestly I think they are being edgelords. I really do think they're being edgelords because they're causing trouble. Apparently, is that what the article said? They were going around doing a bunch of shit.
Well, yeah. Here's the other little piece about it. Because they're calling for the expulsion of the boys, and there's 4 of them. And another set of video and images. The boys are seen at a drive-through window of a fast food restaurant. People were saying it was McDonald's. They appear to be taunting an African American female cashier and referred to her with derogatory terms. They also appear to be using Black English vernacular, which I believe can be referred to as broken English or Ebonics.
I think it's another word for Ebonics.
Ebonics, yes. So, but they're not going to throw that term in there. So,
all right. Well, obviously not. So, okay, I'm gonna go see what this fiasco entails. This has been entertaining. That fucking anal. The anal solve the gay thing was hilarious. Okay, thanks, guys. See you next time, boys.
Cheers.
And he's gone. That was Stalin.
Yes, we've spoken before. Look, my main point, however stupid these kids were, everyone else there has been as or stupider still. Most especially all the students who objectively stopped a highway, possibly even risked lives, because what? What did it accomplish?
I see.
Because they want these punks burned at the stake.
They
want wishes.
They want him expelled. A bunch of parents wanted the students expelled. The mayor, I guess they bugged the mayor to the point where he came out and condemned the action. That's an insult to us. Blackface portrays us a shiftless misdrills, no good. But when you imitate us with the way we talk, with hip hop and all that, you can't have it both ways, and we're not going to tolerate it. Wait, what? No good. But then you want to imitate us the way we talk with hip hop and all that. Can't have it both ways. So, okay then. Let's see. School officials.
Did he forbid them from listening to rap music too?
I don't know. He's complaining about how when light-skinned people or white people or whatever imitate like their styles. Like I've seen a lot of people crap about the whites wearing I think they're called cornrows, or like the braids tightly fastened to your head. I think they're called cornrows.
Are you talking about cultural appropriation?
It kind of sounds like it that they're referring to, but they don't use the word.
Cultural appropriation is a crime. To take it all seriously.
Let's see. School officials estimated that 1,000 students participated in the walkout. Other students who said they did not feel safe on campus were bused to a nearby Calvary Church, but the number of the students was not available Tuesday. Most of the students in the walkout were black. Nearly 70% of HS population is black and about 18% is white. Junior Elizabeth Cruder, who's white, joined the demonstration with several of her friends who are also white. I'm here to support the cause. We must respect and we want respect and diversity in school that is 70% African American. So even though it's one of those communities, and again, depends on what community you were in, but this one's like heavily dominated with black people. She's talking about diversity. It's like, dude, you're the minor in that community. I don't know if you're talking about enforcing more diversity by trying to put in more black people. No.
So I see we're using the Black Panther definition of diversity, which means the fewer white people there are, the more diverse it is.
Yeah.
But specifically, the more black people, fewer white people, no other ethnicities need to be represented, of course. It's how you achieve the greatest diversity, through racial purity.
That's well, in a way, that's like the ethno-state.
It's a really strange definition of diversity, objectively thought and used, especially during the release of Black Panther.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. A lot of people...
Wakanda was so diverse. Brought tears to my eyes.
That was so cringy, people. Sorry about that, guys. My Ethernet fell out. But yeah, and so they're calling for expulsion. Let's see. I came out to stand up for my race. Let's see. Prevent them from speaking out about actions against the teens who are minors. A spokesman for the district denied reports that the boys attended class escorted by a security guard. They were not, she said. Oh, wow. So, police from surrounding areas, including Hetzelcrest and Oak Forest, were stationed near the campus and helped close off streets so the marchers could move down Kedzie. Notice was made. So, you had this entire community freak out, and then you had PD borrowed from nearby areas to walk these students down a busy highway, but nobody got arrested? Wow. Okay. There's some, like, favoritism going on there. Kind of yeah. You're not supposed to allow people to block off a highway. That's, like, highly illegal.
But they were clearly so incensed over this misapplication of what may or may not have been black paint.
Yeah, and see that, like I said, that's the weird thing. One kid didn't go full blown with it and just did what looked to be like a weird medieval mask. And then you have the other two who look like they were trying to mimic like one of those snow masks. So, hey Israel, we're just talking about some political stuff. But yeah, so it just, like I said, it's stupid because every time you see black paint on somebody, everybody wants to wig out. And it's gotten to the point to where nobody knows what actual blackface is anymore. Like, we hear arguments of digital blackface. Oh, well, if you use a GIF of a black person, it's digital blackface. If you do this, if you put this... Yes.
I heard it as exploiting black emotional labor. You're using these images of black people laughing and so on. You're making their black images do your emotional heavy lifting, and it's very, very ist of you, people who do that for reasons. I know this makes about as much sense as getting really upset over black text on white backgrounds. Those poor black letters, forced to slave there, conveying meaning.
Speaking of which, there's another... This has to do with photography. But people are now claiming there is racism stigmas in photography with the way that, and I'm not kidding, the way that the camera lens captures a dark colored person. Let me see if I can actually pull that up because that was what I wanted to talk about last stream. Let me see if I can actually find it. Nope, don't care. But yeah, they're talking about how the lens captures the colors of someone's skin color. Now, again, when it comes to photography, a little bit of graphic design, you have to, depending on the lighting of the room, the camera, the resolution, what else is going on in the room, if you're able to take a good shot, your face is going to be lit up properly. But say if you have too much light, your face looks like it's going to be whitewashed. If you don't have enough light or too much contrast, it looks like it's going to be darkened and it's going to express or exaggerate a lot of shadows. I cannot find the stupid article anywhere, and it's so annoying.
I I remember a few details about this particular story. Basically, it's a woman who, while on a photo shoot, had a technician come up to her and say, "Your face is too dark." This, of course, was a shocking moment for them. I mean, they're so oppressed going to this photo shoot and then just have someone come and say, just really threw them through a loop. So they did a whole bunch of research for this article about the inherent
Oh,
racism
here it is.
in color photography.
Yeah, I know, I found it. Ha ha ha. Go away, go away, go away. Okay. Oh my gosh, ads everywhere. Shoo. Okay. Yeah, racist bias built into photography. Now, for people who do photography, you guys will understand this way more than I do, and even understand what I'm saying. You have to get the perfect lighting, depending on what type of mood you're trying to capture with your camera, how much color you want in there, how vibrant you want it to be. Because yes, you can go in and then you can take the image and tweak with it in Photoshop or some sort of photo editing program. But what they're trying to insinuate here is that the camera itself is racist and it doesn't capture the color or makes it way too dark or makes it way too light.
Well, they're presuming, of course, that everyone who's involved in this, in making this color photography, was, of course, a horrible, filthy, white mayo cock. CAUC.
Oh, here we go.
So naturally, their implicit bias bled into the camera film.
Yeah, and see, because they complain about like when photos, like when somebody goes to edit a photo and they have really dark skin, they complain, well, you make me lighter. Well, kind of have to if you want your features more pronounced and if you want your eyes to actually be seen. I mean, because if you look at her, you can tell the lighting's kind of been tweaked with you, especially on the forehead. But that also brings out her cheeks, that brings out her eyes, it brings up the shape of her face more. Everything doesn't look meshed or melded together. So, I mean, I can understand the frustration, but again, you're wanting to capture the best pic you can with the best type of lighting, even if you have to go full with it in a program a little bit. So, it's not that the camera's racist, it's just they don't know how to pick up better color without it looking too dark. It's so I freaking hate that. Oh well, no, everything's racist. Everything's racist. And they've gotten better. A lot of our digital programs, graphic design programs, photography programs, software, and all that have gotten way better at capturing colors. Hell, it has now gotten to the point to where instead of having the traditional red, green, and blue, when it comes to screens and monitors and TVs, you have TVs that are now known as 4K, which is red, green, yellow, and blue. And that yellow is supposed to bring out the more vibrant side of colors, supposed to make the colors more bright. Now, depending on the brand, on the TV, it can make the colors a little too bright and cartoony. So that does happen, but you now have 4 colors these days that are a better mix and better capture of shades, hues, that sort of thing. So, let's see. Micro recognizes, but yeah. So it's another dumb thing for them to bitch about. I don't know.
What really stood out to me in that entire article is that it was ultimately someone whose life was just so charmed, so easy, that they have to really reach, dig, and cling on to slight small kernels of trivial offense to build into an entire art. I can't imagine someone who has problems obsesses this deeply over technician. This is throwing off our set.
Yeah.
Your skin tone is darker than we were expecting. Now, the technician was probably a bit autistic, because obviously you can't really change someone's skin tone on set.
Right.
But what they really were trying to say is that the clothing combination was making things that much more difficult.
Well, from what the guy said, he wasn't wearing a dark suit. I believe he said it was beige. It was a light colored suit. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, she was wearing a
everything.
beige suit.
Yeah, everything is lighter than my face. I'm black. Touche. So he was wearing a very light colored suit in contrast to his dark colored skin. So yeah, that is. He popped a little bit too much. And for those of you guys who don't know what they
This one
mean,
was a she.
huh?
I could have sworn it was she. I could be mistaken.
Oh, I could be mistaken too. I don't. Let's see. Um, but like
Not that it really matters.
no. But like when you pop out too much, that's pretty much two colors across the color wheel, like directly across. Like you have. I'm having like the biggest brain fart right now. Like you could have red to blue, those colors would pop. You have orange to purple, those colors would pop. So he pretty much wore something that contrasted his skin color so freaking much that he kind of popped out a little bit too much in all the wrong ways. But yeah, it just I understand if you want to better the technologies, like, hey, is there a better way to capture this? Now we have dual color, we have programs that color or capture the shades 10 times more than what they used to. But to call it like a racial issue or to say, oh, well, photography has a racial bias to it. No, it's just color balancing. People are trying to bring out your features. They're trying to make sure the resolution is sharp. They're trying to make sure that you don't look funny, that you don't look 10 times or 10 pounds fatter than when you took the pic. I mean, oh, hey, Tom. Let's see. In other words, because light works that way. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure if they're accusing the physics of it of being racist. Although, though they're not doing it in this case, I'm pretty sure we could find articles where equally incompetent things are being stated. Like it was not that long ago we had a professor talking about how objective science was racist
Yeah.
because it wasn't subjective.
Yeah, because of the time back then, we had a lot more men who are scientists. I mean, colleges have tossed out so much literature, like Shakespeare and whatnot, because it's done by white men. It's like, no, that's our foundation. I don't. You shouldn't care who you learn from. You shouldn't care. It's one thing to be represented in like a team or like a show or something like that, but when you're tossing out foundational pieces because of the skin color and possibly because of what they wrote, I don't think I'll ever be able to survive at college if I go back. Simply because it's like, no, give me a real book, give me something real to look into.
I wonder if South Africa ever got a starting science.
Huh?
Well, one of the first videos I was over a clip that had been effectively smuggled out of, I believe, Johannesburg, where students were basically demanding that scientific knowledge be restarted because it was colonized.
Yeah, no, I remember that video, girl, and that was 1 to 2 years, and they were like somebody like what the funny thing is, I think one of them had their iPhone out, like this white iPhone. And it's like, well, if you guys wanted to restart science, if you guys don't use stuff created by white people, stop using your phone because that was created by a white person. Stop driving your cars because that was created by a white person. Stop using your freaking telephone. And we've had a lot of
Well, hold on. Let's be fair here. An iPhone, it was probably made by an Asian individual. Technically.
what do you mean?
It's all made in China these days.
I'm talking about the actual invention of it. it's the actual invention. I forgot what the name of the guy is, but he sat in one office and they had it plugged in. And granted, it wasn't very far, but he had the guy go in the other room and
Alexander Graham Bell.
There you go. He had the guy go in the other room, close the door, pick up the things like, "Hey, can you hear me?" He goes, "Yeah, I can."
Well, look, there was 0% chance that we're ever going to restart science, as in just forget everything and start from scratch. So basically what they were proposing in reality, they just declare everything completely undiscovered, and therefore it would be a free-for-all. Everyone would be able to invent everything. Peanut butter, cotton gin, guns.
Oh, yeah.
I personally was, if they were going to go that route, claim the resistor. I was going to go for electricity, but I got talked down.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff.
I also want to discover EMC equals, you know how it goes.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff. These kids don't know what they're saying, but they want to scream, "Oh, well, we're not represented in history." History was different. History's not going to change to suit your feelings because you weren't there or there wasn't enough of a certain colored person. I mean, that's not how that works. And I was talking with Miss Steam, not last week, obviously, but the week before, because you're talking about everybody bases like their race and their ethnicity off their skin color. You can't. We found a video, by a big YouTuber, I think it was like Mia Hope or something. She came out, she was hoping that she'd had lineage in Africa, but it turns out she's
I remember this one.
Yeah, she's very dark skinned. She's very pretty, but her lineage is in Europe. White. So it's just like, yeah, you can't go off of skin color because you have people who are half Japanese, half Canadian, half Chinese, half Scottish. So you can't go by skin color. Skin color doesn't mean shit.
I remember that video.
That was
just so shocked and somehow
she removed
ever
it.
so slightly heartbroken.
Yeah, no, she removed it and it got mirrored. And I was laughing. I'm going like, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect. More people need to see this video." She probably got some backlash for it. But it's just like, yeah.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah,
From both directions.
Oh, yeah.
After all, she's no longer black to some people.
Yeah, it's just like with what's the opposite is true of, "Oh, well, you can't be black because you have white skin," even though you have people with white skin who are born in Africa, but they're only seen as white people and the demons, so the people with the dark skin get all their farmland. Oh, me and Steam went over this about like 2 weeks ago, and it is so freaking stupid how people base race and ethnicity. It's like, yeah, you can't do it that way.
Well, it doesn't make sense to do it at all.
Yeah.
It's a terrible predictor for anything regarding. And ultimately, it's just sheer cosmic chance. There's no reason to be proud or ashamed.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to look into your culture, the history of your family, but it's another thing to use that as like a sole identifier. It's like you weren't a part of that. You have a lineage to that, but you're not a part of that. Just like all these people scream, these black people and people of color scream about slavery, and it's just like, you guys weren't a part of that stuff at all. If anything, you guys were treated better than the Irish slaves that were over here. And I love, like, because you'll see a lot of BLM members and a lot of people who talk about the white privilege, bring that up as like, "Oh, well, they're bringing up the Irish." Well, yeah, they were slaves over here too, and they got treated worse than you. People didn't care if they died from beatings because they were replaceable and they were already over here. You, however, got treated, or rather the Africans, the actual ones that were sold by their own people, because the African tribes, there is a book, and I don't know if other people were made to read this book in high school. I was. It's called A Heart of Darkness. It's by, the last name is Ichabod, Achibe, Ichabod, so I forget the first name. But that talks about it's based off of the history of the African tribes and how they will war with each other. The losing tribe has to give a certain amount of virgins, female virgins, and then young males. And that village that receives these people can do whatever the hell they want with them. So it's just like, yeah, no, you had tribes warring with each other and selling each other off. That's how we, the evil white people, got them. So it's stupid. But real quick, we're gonna jump over to a 5-minute break. So if you guys need to go to the bathroom, grab a snack, do whatever, we'll be back in 5. So, one second. are back. Yay. Okay, so, I don't know if we really have anything more to say on the racism stuff unless you do. I've pretty much gone off on a tangent at this point.
No, nothing. I really feel compelled to comment on regard. And I could rail for quite a bit longer, of course, over the sheer absurdity of it all, but don't think we have all the article series reference. And it's probably good to change topic.
Yeah.
In any case.
So because I know there's 3 other topics we can go into. We can talk about the Sonic stuff. I know that stuff is like everywhere.
It is extraordinary in its own horrible.
That was like really, really scary. And then we could talk about you brought up a transgender powerlifter, which I don't know how it's the same argument. We could talk about, 'cause I do have another one. It's a bit of a weird topic, clickbaity title, but it's a discussion that many parents have and they need to have, like with each other, to figure out what to do. It's the exclusive University of North Texas holds a lesson of, give me one sec. Sexual pleasure and response in infants. And before you guys freak out about that title, no, it is not something pedo related. I went through this article 3 to 4 times, and I even made an entire thread. So what piques your interest there, Arketer?
I would say, while I would like to ramble a bit about Sonic trailer, I subjected my audience to that last Wednesday, and there's still more to be pondered, like how far Jim Carrey has fallen, but perhaps the more pressing topic is the transgender powerlifter and indeed issue that apparently is when it comes to trans individuals and competitive sports.
Okay. The one thing I will say about Sonic is they have listed that they're scrapping the crap they put out and they're redoing them. So what I saw was horrifying. Just completely horrifying. And if you guys have not seen it yet, go look up Sonic like live action reaction videos. They're like all over the place. So be warned, if you click on one, you're gonna get several more in your suggestions box. So yeah, people are already complaining about that. But anyway.
The only way they could salvage it, in my opinion, scrap the whole thing and produce Fire Marshal Bill the movie.
Yeah,
It's comedy, it's horror, it's comedy horror.
The origin story is just shit. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so this is from NBC News. Stuck on the sidelines, a transgender powerlifter fights for the right to compete. It's not fair to genetically eliminate an entire group of people, said J.C. Cooper, who was barred from U.S. powerlifting competitions. Well, you're genetically a dude, so... the first time J.C. Cooper walked onto the platform at a women's powerlifting competition, everything fell away. Her year-long eternal struggle over her gender identity, her decision to leave men's sports. See, now that's funny. You leave men's sports during a transition. Her doubts that she would ever feel safe if she returned to competitions. When she stepped out in front of 100 people in the gym in Fort Collins, Colorado, last September, all she focused on was the barbell, which she hoisted off the ground, and then she heard the cheers of the crowd, "Come on, JC." She had found not only a sport, but also a home. So, went from guy sports...
It's all very emotional.
Yeah, went from guy sports to girl sports. And I've been hearing a lot of that lately, how you have a lot of, and it's usually failed athletic men who suddenly go to female sports after they transition. And it's just like, there's something kind of screwy going on with that. Like, big time.
Yep.
In a world that wants to take away our power...
Want to be wieners.
Yeah. In a world that wants to take away our power and strength, Cooper said recently by phone from her home in Minneapolis, powerlifting is a way to gain that strength back and feel powerful and feel ownership of our own lives. It helps us find strength within ourselves and helps us find strength within our bodies. Cooper signed up for more competitions, but to her astonishment, U.S. Powerlifting, the sport's biggest federation, told her that she could not compete in a women's division because of her gender identity. In the email, USA Powerlifting said she was denied because she had a direct competitive advantage over the other women who were competing. And yeah, that is true, and I forget which wrestlers this was between. It was a mixed martial arts where you had a female wrestler come in and just beat the shit out of everybody, and the top actual female wrestler said that she was so overpowered there was nothing she could do. She goes, I was fighting a guy, biological male, there's no competition there. So yeah, it just, in some sports I'm actually glad. It's like, you have genetics of a dude or you have genetics of a woman. No.
Well, here's my issue.
Go ahead.
I've heard a lot of arguments about how sad it is. These poor trans individuals cruelly shunned from competitive sports with those of their sort of same gender. But that's missing the forest for the trees by... Actually, it seems kind of an abuse of the metaphor. Look, way off base, because here's the deal. You throw people who are biologically male in a competition with athletes who are biologically female, and they will, well, beat the hell out of all the women.
Oh.
They do have a direct competitive edge. Now, they're talking about how bad they're being excluded and what a disservice it is to them, but what about the disservice it is to the women? You're going to say that you need to privilege these very small number of people with a direct competitive edge over an entire 50% of humanity.
Yeah. And get this too, I love this little bit. Cooper's story received national attention after she posted about it on Instagram in January. She drew support from fellow powerlifters and Rep. Ilhan Omar, that freaking moron, demon who slammed the ban on transgender women competitors as discriminatory and unscientific. That woman has no room to be commenting on everything. She...
Scientific.
Yeah, no. Bleh, yeah, her...
Prophetic medicine?
Yeah, no, I'm still shocked she even got a chair in the seat of Congress, and she needs to go, because no, did you hear what she came out and said about the September 11th stuff? That some people did some things, that we should move on, and it's just like, no, Omar, we had terrorists attack our country and kill thousands of people, or people jumping out the windows. We lost a lot of firefighters, policemen, freaking paramedics, anybody who remembers the details, body parts are being pulled out of the rubble. So it wasn't just some people did some things, Omar. You're very anti-Semitic, very anti-American. Oh God, I really hope she goes, because her, Cortez, their other little Hawaiian buddy, it's just like, y'all, no, all you need to go. What is that? Lindsay, Cesar, whatever her face is. Oh no, they all need to get the boot. Let's see. It was just the latest and growing number of battles over the place of transgender women athletes in competitive sports. Well, go create your own freaking sector. As transgender women have become more visible and sought to participate in women's sports, athletic organizing bodies have grappled with how to respond, and critics of their inclusion have grown increasingly vocal as well. Yeah, because you have biological men competing against biological women. Hormones is not going to change your biological function or the natural biology of your body. It's just not. In March, tennis legend Martina Navratilova apologized for causing trans women cheats. Is that the same one that threw a shit fit because the ref called her on a bad play and she lost? Is this the same? Is that same
No.
lady? No? Different one?
No. That was one of the Serena twins.
Oh!
Williams twins, as I recall.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting my tennis people mixed up. Cheats in a Sunday Times op-ed in which she wrote that letting men compete as women simply if they change their name and take hormones is unfair. And no, she's right. She's perfectly right. If I had somebody coming to me saying apologies, like, no, these are biological women being allowed in biological women's sports. No. No. Weeks later, marathoner Paula Radcliffe told BBC Sport that would be naive not to institute rules. In an interview with Sky News in April, Radcliffe said that if trans people were permitted to compete without regulations, it would be the death of women's sport. And that's true because there has been men on the rise transitioning, going into women's sports. It has escalated. Don't know why. It's just weird. For transgender people watching this issue play out, the debate, often based more in bias and assumptions than in science, is dehumanizing? What? Watching this issue play out, the debate, often more based in bias and assumptions. Oh, okay. Then science is dehumanizing. Those who seek to exclude transgender women from sports sometimes imply the athletics are adopting their identity to gain an edge in competition, a suggestion many find offensive. Well, it doesn't matter if you guys find it offensive. You guys are biologically the opposite sex. You guys do not belong in biological women's sports. Period.
Well, they're doing a Mexican hat dance around this possible solutions here.
Yeah,
they know what they are. They don't care. They're talking about offense and feels and no. Think about what it's like. Exclusion and dehumanization. Look, no. This is an effort to use emotions to pull away from objective reality. Objective reality is they have a solid biological edge that can never really be quite eliminated. The solution, therefore, is to either simply allow them to keep competing in the male league, and if that's unacceptable, then, well, I suppose it's time for a trans league.
Oh, yeah, no, I say create your own freaking league. They don't understand what it means to be a trans person. Yeah, no, a lot of... Chris Meixsell...
Well, they should spend more time competing with other athletes who are also trans people, who also understand. Also, am I cutting off from your perspective? Because
a little bit.
Chat,
yeah, you are a little bit.
Perhaps I could have routed this better. Damn. Well, it's too late to change it now without possibly interrupting the call.
It's alright. Let's see. Chris Meixsell, a competitive runner and cycler, and the first known transgender athlete to make a men's U.S. national team, said, "The folks who are improperly reporting on this are making it seem like cis men are pretending to be women to dominate sports." That's kind of what it looks like, that they can't make it in the men's sports, so they go and they transition into the female ones. He added, referring to people who are assigned, no. There's no assigning any gender at birth. Your body naturally, your genitalia that is natural to you, it's not assigned. No. At birth and identify as men. What? Okay.
How do they imagine doctors work? Like, do they imagine Babby just pops out and then they throw a dartboard that's divided between male and female and just stitch on whichever genitals seem appropriate?
I freaking hate it that they're putting it like that. Assigned, I love it. Identify as men. No, they are biological men. They have a biological genitalia that are natural for their gender. I can't say that the amount of discrimination, harassment, and challenges trans people face in their everyday lives would never be offset by glory. Okay. It's been a roller coaster. Before becoming a powerlifter, Cooper lifted weights as part of her training for other sports. As a teenager growing up in Clarkston, Michigan, she was the U.S. Junior National Curling Team, competed in track and field in high school, and rode in college. But she never felt comfortable. Oh, what? Hello. Nope, get off. But she never felt fully comfortable on all boys' teams. I wonder why. That just screams of insecurity to me. It's been a roller coaster, Cooper said. One of the reasons I stepped away from curling was that I wasn't being my authentic self and I was super depressed and I needed more time away to figure out what that meant for me. 4 years ago, she began hormone replacement therapy as part of her transition. Now she identifies as trans feminine, which she sees as a more expensive identity than simply female.
So, they're not really interested in transitioning. They're interested in being just feminine enough to claim super special third gender status.
Or to compete in a sport which they know they'll dominate at. Which, again, like I said, there's a high speculation that failed men athletes are now going to the women's because they can easily dominate the women's. Let's see. Cooper came across...
Winning at all costs, including Mr. Happy.
Yeah. Cooper first came across powerlifting in high school. Well, here's the thing. Not all trans women do that, if you know what I mean. But didn't decide to compete until last year while recuperating from a broken ankle, and she was struck by the sport's simplicity and supportive atmosphere. In powerlifting, athletes are divided into categories by sex, age, and weight, and they compete in 3 types of lifts: squats, bench press, and deadlift. I forgot what a deadlift is. Each movement is a test of static strength, force, and focus. The barbell
and greetings, your boy Pat.
Oh, hey Pat. Let's see. The barbell for me has been a very empowering way to be in my body, which is pedicalized every waking second, connect with it, and feel like I'm achieving something. Huh?
Emotional word soup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I know, and they add more to it. It's very almost spiritual. What? It's a very almost spiritual feeling in the sense that I'm carrying all of this trauma with me, and I'm literally focusing all that into the barbell. What trauma are you talking? What? In that moment, I get to control what's going on. So you're traumatized because you're trans? Because it's been politicized? I mean, is that... Okay. To lower her testosterone levels, Cooper takes... Dear God, help me with this word. Spironolactone, a drug that is also used to treat high blood pressure and can mask steroid use. What? Mask steroid use. Okay. USA Powerlifting, which follows rules set by the World Anti-Doping Agency, requires athletes to apply for an exemption to compete while taking the drug. The group has granted exemptions to powerlifters who have taken spironolactone to treat acne or polycystic ovary syndrome. Ooh. Larry Mell, U.S. Powerlifting's president, said, as part of her... tongue-tied. As part of her medication exemption application, Cooper provided documentation that her testosterone levels have remained under the International Olympic Committee's accepted limit for 2 years. USA Powerlifting falls under the International Powerlifting Federation, which adopted the IOC's guideline that allowed transgender women to compete in women's divisions provided their testosterone level is below 10 m. I don't know what measurement that is. 10 mNOs for at least 12 months. And see, I don't even think that's really accurate because when it comes to testosterone, you have men that have less than others, but they could still build large amounts of muscle mass. So, you still there, Arketer?
Yes, I'm trying to find the precise spot in the article as well.
So there's requirements to have a certain level of testosterone, even though that's not going to dictate your muscle mass, and a certain number isn't going to do anything or prevent. No, that's not how that works. But in December,
Nope.
Go ahead. Oh.
And it doesn't work that way. And again, it's trying to find a compromise where there really can't be a compromise. The compromise would be either letting them compete against the fully biological men, in which they accept going into the competition that they may be operating at a disadvantage. They're making that choice. However, you can't force the majority to be critically disadvantaged for a select few who I really do think are just kind of hopping the fence here because they want to be the winners.
Yeah, and it's not just about like the minority. It's what's appropriate. It's what's actually fair, an even playing ground. So
If you're going to stick people who are biologically male in women's league, then you can just cut out a lot of the slow death by just go ahead and mash the two leagues together. See what happens.
you're gonna have a
Co-ed sports across the board.
Oh
see
yeah,
how you really want to get involved in that.
yeah. You're gonna have a bunch of men trouncing around in women areas. It just that's what it is. But in December, Cooper's exemption request was denied. She was told that she could not compete in women's division of powerlifting because she had an competitive advantage as a transgender woman, according to an email exchange obtained by NBC News between Cooper and Dr. Christopher Hunt, the chair of USA's powerlifting committee that reviews applications for medical exemptions. Male to female transgenders are not allowed to compete as females in our static strength sport, as it is a direct competitive advantage, Hunt said in one email to Cooper. Pressed for clarification, he wrote a follow-up. The fact that transgender male to female individuals have gone through male puberty confer an unfair competitive advantage over non-transgender females, he said. And that's true enough. Men have more of a have more of a body mass, and they can put on more muscle. So, that is true, especially when males hit puberty. You guys, depending on your genetics, you guys get like freaking huge. Broad shoulders, chin, it depends, of course, on genetics, but you guys still are able to attain more muscle. In a phone interview, Malley defended the decision and said the organization's policies of barren transgender women, as well as transgender men who take testosterone, because, you're a biological female, you're not going to be able to get anywhere near enough muscle mass as a man. Your bone frame, your frame is not going to be able to support the same weight as a man's does when it comes to muscles, nor will it have the same strength. Was not new, though it was not posted on USA Powerlifting's website until this winter after Cooper applied for the exemption. Malley said the IOC's guidelines ultimately give organizations the discretion to make their own decisions about fair play. To reach the decision, he said, USA Powerlifting researched the physical difference between men and women in terms of muscle density, connective tissue, and frame shape, which with women, just if you look at the pelvis, we have more of a, I believe it's like butterfly because we're supposed to give birth to babies. Men have more of a smaller pelvis. We've been referred to as bigoted and transphobic and a whole lot of less kind things, but it's not an issue of that for us, Malley said. It's an issue that we have to consider dispassionately and make our best judgment collectively about what the impact on fair play is for us, and that the basis on which we proceeded. He added that powerlifting is really unique because we're a high strength and low technique sport, so the physiology of the competitors is particularly important. Cooper doesn't buy that argument. Well, of course not, because you're confused.
That's not what they want.
Yeah, confused and jump the fence.
What their feels tell them should be the case.
Yeah. Noting that women's bodies come in all shapes and sizes, you do not have a women's body. Does not matter what type of hormones you take, and that's nothing to people who are going through that operation. But your body will always be biologically the body that you were born with, which may confer advantages for different sports. You look at a WNBA player, they push in 6 feet versus someone doing gymnastics who's 5 feet tall. You can't compare the sports because with basketball, it is technique of how you dribble the ball. It is how far you can shoot the ball. Make sure that you don't have any fouls. With gymnastics, depending on what you're doing, whether that's splits, what is that stupid bar to where they kind of twirl around it, but they're constantly exchanging hands? I mean, that takes a whole different strength to do so. Their bodies are built completely differently. That's what sports are about. But yes, even with the different sports, there's still, you have women's basketball, you have men's basketball, you have women's gymnastics, and you have men. You are trying to use this freaking argument saying, oh, well, all bodies are different. No. That's not how that works. You have a male body. Biologically speaking, you have a male body. The NCAA has policies similar to the international Olympic community and does not require athletes to undergo gender-confirming surgery. Well, isn't that nice? And a lot of these places don't. That's the other problem as well. While USA Gymnastics does require it under some circumstances, according to research compiled by Trans Athlete, a database of professional recreational college and K-12 sports, that's pretty much kindergarten through senior year, sports policies on trans athletes. Others aim to be more exclusive. USA Hockey, for example, offers options for, oh my god, non-binary athletes who do not identify as male or female, so confuse people. As well as guidance for trans athletes. While opponents of inclusion point to the bigger, faster, stronger argument as the basis of their fear that transgender women are taking over women's sports, biological men are taking over women's sports. That is a known fact. There are a few examples of trans women who've excelled at a national award level, according to CYD Zegler, co-founder of Outsports, an outlet that reports on the LGBTQ athletes. It doesn't matter if they've... Go ahead.
There are a few examples.
Go ahead.
As rare as they are, but there are a few examples even, is not something that should be cited as reassuring. What they're saying is that out of these incredibly small percentage of the population, they are standing out in competition. Which does match our hypothesis, but it's not theirs.
Let's see. Yeah, no, it's a touch base with the chat.
Disagreement among experts. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
I cringe every time I see an article like this. Right?
The wording,
experts.
You can tap on
Can you hear the air quotes? Experts.
See, are we gonna talk about SR and BB? No, I've had enough fun for one day. It's true even in sports like sailing. Oh yeah, the separated men and women genders or sexes. That's what it's looking like to me. I raced a trans woman who is woman to... Oh, I raced a trans woman to man in a Century 100-mile bike ride. I have been off the bike for over a year. I still beat him. There are strength and cardio advantages of being male. Yes, because you guys are naturally born to be the defenders, the fighters, the hard laborers. Your body is built for more strength, more mass, just overall toughness, even down to the skin cells. The skeleton is formed different from the hip bones because you guys don't give birth to babies. A woman's body, our systems are more fragile because we literally create life. People need to... Anyway, that was almost a month ago.
Flexibility is the priority there, I would say.
Yeah. They want to be somewhere where they can dominate. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm sorry, but if you're born with a sack between your legs, you're a boy. If you're born with a hole between your legs, you're a girl. How's that so hard? Because it's Fifi's, Asriel. Science is objective nowadays, or it's transphobic, or even racist. If they can mess...
There are legitimate cases of gender dysphoria. I am quite certain of that. I don't believe Cooper, for example, is one. Because they're not concerned really with being a woman. They want to be trans feminine. A person who generally wants to make their body match what's in their head doesn't want to stop at a half measure.
Yeah. Let's see. Deleted account. I got into an argument with someone that was gung-ho supporting trannies. They said acknowledging the delusion equates to combating it. Acknowledging it and combating it, sure, but the way that you guys go about it, no. They posted studies that came to a single conclusion. Supporting someone's delusion preserves their fifis, and they learn nothing other than their delusion is completely acceptable. Yeah, and that's the problem. That's exactly freaking problem. Gender confirmation shouldn't be required, but testosterone blockers. They just need to work harder. But even, here's the thing, because their body has already matured as a male, so they already have the broad shoulders, the muscle mass, and all that, stopping testosterone at that point isn't going to matter. Keeping it down at a low level isn't going to matter. You mean FTM or, okay. MTFs are often too weak to compete against most men. Well, that's because it's still biological male, but they're also too strong to compete against biological women. So does that mean should they intrude upon women's sports? Oh, okay, there's you guys are having a conversation. Okay, so yeah. Let's see. The scientific research on transgender athletes is in its early stages. No, the science is already out there. And there is disagreement among experts about how to determine fair rules of competitions. Create a third sector.
Experts.
Oh, yeah. What is with this? Let's see.
This next quote is just a great, fantastic, bold lie from a man who has no business being a director of sports governance of any sort.
Oh, I love this. There's no simple or even complex biological test you can apply that tells you who's a man and who's a woman. Yes, it does! Look at the fucking skeleton! A woman's skeleton is going to be more wide and butterfly shaped in comparison to a man's, which is going to be more small. Yes, it is! Biological test. You take a fucking x-ray. Oh my god. And then the skin cells. Women's skin cells are more fragile and I believe even arranged differently. Oh my god. In the absence of such a test, testosterone levels are often used as a proxy to determine whether trans women are eligible to compete in women's leagues. Again, the testosterone levels do not work, especially when it comes to Cooper's case, because they're already, again, way past puberty. They're already in shape. And as noted in the article, Cooper came from men's sports. So, yeah, I was already toned in all that wonderful stuff. Let's see, there's evidence that transgender women who are on hormone therapy have lower muscle mass and less aerobatic ability than they did before. Well, yeah, because it's biological men injecting synthetic hormones into their body and screwing up their hormonal balance. Or if anything...
And this is why I would say, by the way,
go ahead.
If they want to stay in the male leagues and compete professionally there, this is the disadvantage that they would be acknowledging, accepting, and overcoming then.
Yeah.
I could conceivably back that. That's striving to overcome a handicap. Okay, that's fair enough. But what they want to do is force an entire 50% of humanity to overcome their advantage.
Oh, look at this. Okay. Everybody goes, a scientist, look at this. And now they put this towards the end. A scientist who studies gender diverse athletes and advises the International Olympic Committee. In 2015, said she published on trans women who are distant runners. Harper This is a trans biological male who is pushing these freaking studies, who is a trans woman and runner herself, found out after being on hormone therapy, the women were running more than 10% slower. Because you are jacking with your natural hormone balance. But that still does not mean that you should be able to compete with the natural biological women. You are in a level in the middle at that point. But testosterone is an imperfect metric. Yes, it is, because you can have a full muscle mass man in shape and his testosterone level be lower than a guy who's probably not as toned or strong as he is. Testosterone is not everything. It is a hormone balance. Even amongst, I'm not fucking using that word, even among actual men and women, there is a variance in the amount that is considered normal. Okay, again, because I've talked about this on my channel. Women have a progesterone, estrogen with a skosh of testosterone, and you have an androgen mixed in there. Men have testosterone, progesterone with a skosh of estrogen and a little bit of androgen mixed in there somewhere. So they have different hormone balances for their bodies. You jack up those things, it's going to lead to depression, suicide, weight gain, hair loss, water retention. So yeah, no wonder you guys have so many freaking problems. I'm not trying to be mean, but this is simple biology. Let's see. That's considered normal.
Interacting with biology is going to be too much for them when interacting with basic objective reality is too much for them.
Let's see. At the Minnesota State Championship in February, a USA powerlifting meet where Cooper hoped to compete, almost a dozen athletes and 20 people in the audience protested her exclusion, according to Maxwell Ponsnecker, a transmasculine identified lifter from St. Paul, Minnesota. Flanked by signs and wearing t-shirts that said, "I support trans lifters belong here." The athletes stood on the lifting platform without competing to show this disapproval of the policy. Well, you guys are freaking stupid. Ponsnecker said.
Yeah, look, here's part of the problem. Without competing. So how about they all get to compete with Cooper? Maybe in their own special league.
Yeah, there needs to be, if you guys really want to do this, if you create a sector for transgender men and then transgender women, but state you guys do not belong in the biological sexes, considering what you've done to your bodies. You've either, yeah, no, it does not work that way. From Little Leagues to the Olympics, question over transgender inclusion. Little Leagues has to do with children, if I'm not mistaken. Like Little League Baseball, it's usually children's baseball, so transgender shouldn't even mix or be in the same sentence of that. Let's see. Over transgender inclusion will continue to surface. Advocates who say concerns about competitive fairness are often rooted in gender stereotypes and scientific research is lacking. Believe policy should be as inclusive as possible. And scientific research is lacking. No, it's not lacking. It's not lacking at all. We've had multiple studies on hormones, what the imbalances do to the body, how the muscles grow. There's a skeletal difference. You can tell by your skeleton what freaking gender you are. Men have one less rib.
Is that it's lacking things confirming what they.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Pseudoscience.
And until the science can be made to say what they want it to say, it simply isn't ready yet.
It's just like the brain matter shit, the white matter versus the gray matter. It's a bunch of hooey because everyone's brain is different. But no. Let's see. It's hard to call anything model when it requires an individual to be tested and questioned, said Brianna Des, a powerlifter and co-director of Pull for Pride, a charity deadlifting event that benefits homeless LGBTQ youth. If athletes have a sincerely held gender identity, that should be sufficient, she said. No, it shouldn't. Your fifis do not override biology.
Sincerity? Now, how does Brianna Diaz, a powerlifter and co-director of Pull for Pride, plan on measuring sincerity? Because sincerely, there is no thing whatsoever to separate a third gender or a fourth gender or fifth gender from someone who just says they are. And when it comes to this, there's no way to confirm sincerity. There is no test you can do to confirm sincerity. And since you can't confirm sincerity, you can either insist that everyone be taken as sincere or no one be taken as sincere.
Yeah, oh no, definitely.
There's no objective measure. There is a musician in the UK, goes by the name of Zuby. Awesome guy. He recently broke the women's powerlifting. Did you know that?
No,
He
I didn't.
identified as a woman for the duration of it, and now, hypothetically, if we're going to allow this idiocy, he owns the record.
Yeah, no, it wackadoo. It's what it is. And this is why people are kind of like fighting back, and a lot of people are like going, you guys do this crap, we're done. Let's see. Cooper, who co-directs Pool for Pride, hopes to use her experience with powerlifting as a way to drive the conversation about trans athletes. On May 9th, USA...
Yes, out.
Huh?
Look, they're picking... This is very stupid for a lot of reasons, even from the perspective of what they want to happen. Because they are picking a fight with 50% of the human population, which they expect to just accept that in their own league, they will never win a damn thing again because why? To what purpose? To coddle a very elite, small percentage of the population with an unfair advantage?
Yeah. It's everyone.
I can't see this doing anything other than just pissing off tons of people.
Yeah,
and creating a lot of ill will towards trans activists.
Oh, there's been a hashtag on Twitter for a while. I use it sometimes. It's trans cult. Here the freaking messed up crap going on in Canada. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Conversation about trans.
Dr. Peterson was right.
About trans athletes on May 9th. Powerlifting's national governing body will meet to discuss its transgender inclusion policy. I really do love the sport, Cooper said, and it's not fair to genetically eliminate an entire group of people. No. Your biological male body butt does not belong in a biologically female sport. Period. You freaking entitled brat. Freaking hate this shit. Oh, I feel this way, so I'm entitled to hear. No, you're not. Let me see. Got about like 8 minutes. Let's see. Homosexuality was as recent as the 90s on there. Let's see. Homosexuality was only removed because of public pressure. Oh, you're talking about how it was removed from the Book of Mental Illness. I heard that passed only with one vote. Or the difference was one vote. Today, it still meets the criteria of a mental illness where evidence of your claim earlier. Oh, okay, they're arguing. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, I love his policies, but think he's an idiot. Oh, what are they? Okay, I thought they were talking about something stream. Okay, one of the funniest terms I've heard lately is transphobic and makes me LMO. Yeah, no, it is funny. It's dumb. Can't choose what mental disorders they have. I'm literally gonna find out my baby's gender on the 13th. Oh, congrats! You don't you need an X-ray. Just find out where they were born with a stick or a hole. There you go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, be a daddy. Creating. Let's see. Confirming their sickness by creating a separate division pandering to their delusion. If anything, what should be enforced is that their sickness is unacceptable. What do you think about chess being sex segregated? Honestly, there should still be stuff for the boys and stuff for the girls. If you look at what's going on with the scouts, the Boy Scouts have been completely ruined because the boards or whatever decided to, oh yeah, well, we should let the girls in. No, no, no. Girl Scouts are for girls, Boy Scouts are for boys. You guys don't need to mix them, you don't need to make them co-ed. If you want to do like a project together, fine. I very temporarily, very young, remember being in the Girl Scouts, and we got the hell out. I think it was like money or something, because it was kind of expensive. So
Expensive, and now it's apparently all about the cookies.
oh yes, push those
The Girl
cookies.
Scouts have been consumed by cookies.
I haven't had Girl Scout cookies in ages.
I can't allow myself to have them.
Why?
They're a little too addictive.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what this particular one is. It has coconut on it and chocolate drizzle, and I know that they like the mint cookies as well, like the chocolate mint ones.
You just named my two favorites.
Yeah, no, I do like the coconut ones. So those are very good. But like I said, I haven't had them in years. I don't even know if I can eat them anymore. I don't know if they would taste good anymore because I don't know if they've changed the recipe or the way that they've done things. So I don't know. It just kind of depends. But yeah, so oh, you sent me a meme.
I cannot allow myself to acquire a box. I'm aware if I have one, I'll eat the box. Then I'll pay for it.
Okay, I'm going to show this meme.
In addition to the increasingly exorbitant price of the box itself.
I love this. Real science. My hypothesis does not conform with reality, therefore my hypothesis should be adjusted. Social science. My hypothesis does not conform with reality, therefore reality should be adjusted. Very true. That's how... Yep, pretty much. Pseudoscience, wackadoo stuff that doesn't even make any freaking sense and ends up harming a lot of people in the long run. So, you're about out of time, so Arketer, if you want to show your stuff, if you want to check him out, his links are in the description below under guest co-host. So, but yeah.
Okay, well, very well. If you were not aware, if you haven't figured out by now,
You cut out.
part of the Dire Wolf Media Network, where I broadcast over their channels, about 5 or so, every Wednesday and Saturday, and try to stream on my personal channel additionally every Monday. A bit behind on that. Also, I have quite a bit of canned content put out, with more on the way. It will resume soon.
So
Let's see. Oh, right. Yes, a few more things. A quick shout out, if I might. I don't know how many of you are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Tyro Intuit.
yes, he's actually in my server and he comes around here when I'm streaming. He's actually been on stream before, so he's a green grasshopper guy.
I want to help spread the word here. Google has basically banned him. He's lost his Google account, his YouTube channel. He's been pretty well screwed over. So that's not cool. I'll be having him on the stream on Saturday to discuss it.
Wait, what do you, like, he is US, right? Or is he...
I believe so. Or it could be Canadian. I'm not really sure. As far as I'm aware, he's a giant grasshopper. Or possibly a cricket.
I didn't know he got banned from, like, so he doesn't have access to Gmail, none of that stuff?
Nope. But as far as I'm aware, he's been completely screwed out of all that. No warnings, no explanation, and when...
and when what? Sorry, you're cutting out again.
Was filed, no warnings, no flags, no notifications. And when a dispute was filed, they just replied that they intended to uphold the suspension.
That's weird. He's a pretty quiet channel. I don't. God, when was the last time I saw his stuff? It's been crazy. I haven't heard anything of this.
Well, now you know, and at least I've informed one person didn't know previously, so hopefully this helps get the word about.
Yeah, he should still be. He should still be in my server. Yeah, no, he's in my server. So yeah, no, I'll try to reach out or something because holy crap, he's like the last person I would expect anything to happen to in regards to that. I don't know what country he's in though. I thought it was USA?
It seems pretty nonsensical. And Google has done this once before. They did it with Dr. Peterson, in fact. But apparently they realized in short order that Peterson was way too high profile to just arbitrarily say, you're screwed. I want to know what it was that Mr. Injo said that set them off. But clearly he said something that prompted someone to pull some strings and specifically get him banned from Google itself in practice. It's insane. Sheer barking madness.
Yeah, because like he doesn't get involved in drama. He really doesn't do controversial videos. I mean, his content's good. He did Save James, a few Save James, a few of the Vic stuff. He covers politics, but he's very quiet about it. He's not a shit stirrer. He's not like, he doesn't rock the boat like the rest of us do. Gosh dang it, that really sucks.
Indeed.
Alright, God, I don't know what other servers you're in. He does, yeah, he should still have access to his Twitter, right?
He should. And I know he can be reached through Discord, although I don't believe he's on presently.
No, his status is offline. So, oh, that's God.
With any luck, I'll have him on, and we'll hopefully learn a bit more about what the hell happened.
Yeah, and whether
although a large part of the reason there's a grief here is because I don't think he even knows. Google has not been forthcoming.
Do you know if his channel is terminated?
Last I heard, it was gone.
Okay, before we kill the stream, I'm gonna go and look because I do believe I was subscribed to him. Come on, YouTube, give me. Wow, he. Let me see because, damn, there's. Hold on.
Notifies channel remains. But I'm not. No, Tara Moonhopper's channel has 4 subscribers. If this is him, then he must have just gotten it back. Or else he's had to start a new one.
Let me see, because I know I subscribed. Let's see. Tyrone. Come on.
Well, at least this would be a good time to hypothetically shout out his new channel. It would seem he's had to start over at the very least.
Yeah, because I'm still subscribed to his terminated one. This account has been terminated for violating YouTube's community guidelines. Oh shit, what is the link to his new one? Like...
Unless some incredibly well-timed imposter who's managed to put up 2 short videos since. As well as with this, I have it right here. Zen TV Discord.
Okay. Oop. Oh, that really sucks. Yeah, no, I don't think this is a fraud. I do think this is him.
Odds seem good.
Okay, so we'll keep our eyeballs on that. At least I'll try to. But anyway, yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. I will actually, if you guys were familiar with Tyro Inchut, he, like I said, he's the grasshopper guy that's come on my stream a couple times. I'm going to put his link in the fellow creators room. Oh no, he was already dumped. Oh no, nope, those are old. Okay. So I will put it, and I'm gonna tag him if you guys want to check him out. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Remember, there is no stream next week, or rather next Friday, because of my oral surgery. So you guys have a good night. Behave. I know I'm one to talk, but you know, you guys have a good night.